Here are 3 opening hooks. Pick the one that fits your style best. Hook A. You've boarded the ship. You're ready for paradise. But one tiny mistake could turn your dream cruise into a stress fest. Stay tuned, and I'll show you exactly what to avoid. Hook B. You've booked the cruise. The countdown begins. Yet most first-timers panic over mistakes nobody told them about. Let's fix that now. Hook C. Cruises look relaxing, effortless, and fun, but there's a hidden list of rookie errors that can wreck the holiday. I'm going to protect you from them. 2. The body. All right, let's count down the 10 most common cruise mistakes first-timers make, and for each one, I'll explain what the mistake is, why it happens, and how you can avoid it. Ready? Let's dive in. Number 10. Not pre-booking key activities. What the mistake is: you board the ship or arrive at port, and you assume we'll figure it out on the spot. But by the time you decide, the best excursions, specialty restaurants, spa appointments are already booked. Why it happens? First-timers think everything will be easy when you're on the ship. The excitement, the unfamiliarity with the system, maybe a "we'll see when we get there" mindset. Meanwhile, other guests jumped in early and secured the prime spots. How to avoid it? As soon as you book the cruise, or at least as soon as you receive your pre-cruise portal access, make a list of what matters. Shore excursions you want? Any specialty dining, spa treatments, or onboard events? Pre-book them online. Even a day or 2 early can make the difference. That way, you're not playing catch-up once you're excited and sailing. Number 8. Underestimating shore excursion timing and logistics. What the mistake is: you think you can just wander off the ship, take a casual taxi, stroll back, and you'll undock no problem. But you don't factor in transport times, disembarkation delays, reboarding cutoffs, and the fact that ship won't wait for you. Why it happens? On land, you're used to get up, leave when you like, but a cruise schedule is rigid. First-timers forget the timing constraints and assume we'll see how long it takes. How to avoid it? Research your port in advance. Know how far the excursion or attraction is from the dock. Allow for plenty of extra time for disembarkation and reboarding. Use the official excursion or a reliable local guide with guaranteed return. Double-check your ship's last re-entry time and make sure you're back before that cutoff. Number 8. Bringing the wrong luggage or overpacking. What the mistake is: you bring a suitcase that's too heavy, bulky, or with ill-fitting items, example formal wear when the cruise is casual, or you bring so much that unpacking becomes a chore and stows take forever. Why it happens? It's your first cruise. You're excited. You think, just in case. You treat it like a hotel stay, instead of knowing there's limited stowage, tight cabin space, and dress codes. How to avoid it? Check the cruise line's dress guidelines ahead of time. Pack smart, versatile layers, comfortable shoes for walking, maybe one dress-up outfit if required, and minimize excess. Use soft luggage or duffel bags that fit under the bed or in a locker. Label your bags for delivery so you can disembark quickly. Remember, less is more. Number 7. Ignoring the daily onboard schedule, muster, and activities.
What the mistake is: you skip the muster, safety drill, or ignore the daily cruise compass schedule of activities, meaning you miss key information, events, and special deals. Why it happens? First-timers may think, oh, we'll just show up later, or they don't realize how many activities there are that only happen once. They might also underestimate the importance of the safety briefing. How to avoid it? Attend the mandatory muster session promptly. Late attendance may delay your first shore excursion. Each evening, check the in-cabin envelope or downloaded app for the next day's schedule, promotions, port info sessions, specialty restaurant offers, kids' activities, if applicable. Mark the things you want and set reminders. 6. Not understanding gratuities, onboard billing, and hidden costs. What the mistake is: you assume everything is included when you book your cruise fare, but you don't grasp the extra costs, daily service charges or gratuities, specialty dining surcharges, premium drinks, photos, Wi-Fi, shore excursion tips, etc. When the bill arrives, you're surprised. Why it happens? First-timers may think, oh, we'll just show up later, or they don't realize how many activities there are that only happen once. They might also underestimate the importance of the safety briefing. How to avoid it? Before you sail, read the What's Included and Not Included section for your itinerary. Know the daily automatic gratuity per guest. Decide whether you'll prepay it or settle on board. Check what extras you're likely to incur and set a budget for drinks, Wi-Fi, souvenirs. Every evening, glance at your onboard account, typically via cabin TV or app, so you don't get a large surprise at the end. 5. Boarding late and missing the smooth entry. What the mistake is: you arrive at the terminal on embarkation day too late, get stuck in long lines, or you don't take advantage of early boarding benefits, meaning you lose precious time in port or on ship, and you're rushed. Why it happens? First-timers may assume they'll just show up whenever, and the ship will wait, or they pack last minute. They may also not realize the prime time to embark, take photos, and start exploring. How to avoid it? Arrive at the embarkation terminal as early as practicable, within the ship's listed check-in window. Have all your documents ready: passport, boarding pass, luggage tags. Once on board, take advantage of the early time to settle into your cabin, explore the ship, get familiar with key areas, dining rooms, deck, muster station, maybe grab a prime pool chair. That gives you a relaxed start, rather than feeling like you're playing catch-up.
Forgetting to check cabin location and ship map beforehand. What the mistake is, you assume any cabin is fine. You pick something last minute or randomly, and you end up far from elevators, noisy by the disco or engine, or with inconvenient access, making your stay less comfortable than expected. Why it happens? On your first cruise, you might treat the cabin like any hotel room and think it doesn't matter. You might book without studying the ship deck plan or not consider noise or traffic. How to avoid it? Pull up the deck plan for the ship you're cruising on. Most cruise lines publish these ahead of time. Look at cabin categories and their locations. Avoid cabins near high traffic zones like nightclubs, buffets, or engines if you favor quiet. Consider proximity to elevators if you have mobility concerns. Choose a cabin you'll be happy to spend time in. It's your base for the trip. 3. Ignoring health and seasickness precautions. What the mistake is, you assume the sea is calm and you'll be fine, so you don't pack motion sickness meds, appropriate footwear, sunscreen, or do not check whether the itinerary has rough seas or tenders. Then you get caught off guard. Why it happens? First-timers often underestimate the ocean conditions. They may think, it's a big ship so it won't rock, or everyone else seems fine. They also may neglect basic outdoor sun and sea sun care rules. How to avoid it? Before sailing, check the likely sea conditions for your route and season. Pack motion sickness tablets, wristbands, or choose a cabin midship on a lower deck, less motion. Bring sunscreen, hat, sunglasses, SPF lip balm. Bring comfortable non-slip shoes for deck surfaces. Drink plenty of water. Avoid heavy meals if you feel queasy, and go to the ship's medical center if you feel unwell. Don't wait. 2. Relying solely on onboard Wi-Fi or connectivity without a plan. What the mistake is, you assume onboard internet will be fast, cheap, and reliable just like your home Wi-Fi. But cruise Wi-Fi tends to be slower, more expensive, sometimes limited, especially when far at sea. Without a plan, you end up frustrated, paying high data fees or missing key notifications. Why it happens? First-timers may treat the cruise ship like any hotel room with solid internet. They may forget roaming issues, higher latency, or limited bandwidth at sea. How to avoid it? Before you sail, check the cruise line's Wi-Fi packages and costs. Decide whether you need full internet access or just minimal, like messaging and social media. Consider using your mobile carrier's international plans, if applicable. Download movies or TV shows before sailing. Carry a memory stick with offline content. Use the ship's Wi-Fi for low bandwidth tasks, and schedule major uploads and downloads while in port, if allowed, for better connectivity. 1. Not checking dress code, port requirements, and documentation. This is the #1 mistake. Thinking, I have my passport and credit card, we're good, and later finding there's a formal night dress code you ignored, a required visa or immunization you forgot, or specific documentation for tender ports. Suddenly, you're turned away from a key dining room, or you've missed the port entry requirements. Why it happens? First-timers assume everything is just like standard travel, like passport check, ship boards, done. But cruise travel has extra layers: ship's immigration, port rules, shore excursion documentation, formal nights, dress codes. How to avoid it? At booking time and during your pre-cruise emails, read the documentation carefully. Check which nights, if any, are formal or semi-formal and pack accordingly. Men's jacket, tie, dress shoes, women's cocktail dress or equivalent. Make sure your passport is valid for any required period beyond travel. Check visa requirements for each port of call. Confirm any required vaccinations. Also, check whether your cruise is a tender port, where the ship anchors offshore and you're ferried in small boats. These may have extra boarding and deboarding times, shuttle schedules, and you'll want to plan accordingly. The outro. All right, you made it to the end. And now you're armed with the knowledge of the 10 biggest pitfalls first-time cruisers tend to hit. Let's recap. We covered pre-booking excursions and special activities, managing shore timing and logistics, luggage and cabin planning, daily muster and onboard scheduling, understanding hidden costs and billing, boarding smoothly, cabin location strategy, health and seasickness prep, Wi-Fi connectivity planning, and finally, documentation and dress codes. By being proactive, doing a little research ahead of time, packing smart, and staying organized, you'll avoid the most common mistakes, feel confident, and enjoy your cruise from day one. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Hit that like button below, subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss future travel hacks and cruise tips, and drop a comment. What's your #1 concern for your first cruise? I'll be reading them and helping where I can. Also, share this video with someone who's planning a cruise or dreaming about one, so they avoid the rookie mistakes too. Thanks for watching, smooth sailing, and see you in the next video.